Shift. We're here to present our project for the System Analysis and Project Management class. And I'm here with the members of my group, Manu Sharma, Xinyuan Wu, and Yuyao Han. Our project covers the implementation of the design and implementation of a soccer analytics tool, and what we looked at was the football transfer market. The market is a very huge one where we have several millions of dollars exchanging hands in form of transfer fees every season. Coaches, player agents, and football analysts have to deal with the challenge of negotiating prices for different players. And the industry is a growing one. Many years ago, transfer prices were in hundreds of thousands, but these days we talk about tens of millions. The English, Spanish, and German leagues are the biggest leagues in the world, and the biggest spenders come from these leagues, and we see them spending an average of 150 million euros on players every year. I'll go ahead to the problem description. The biggest problem coaches and player agents face is that there's very little up to date information on players. Also, it's difficult to determine prices of players because a lot of times rumors, emotions, and other non objective factors affect the decision on pricing. Also, there's really no repository where players and managers can query to find out performance information and other related factors to help them find players. As well, also the to ban to ban sell players, coaches and managers need something to refer to, like some sort of decision support tool to help them compare their costs with their budgets. This slide simply shows us a schematic just talking about the different summary of the different factors that affect the pricing. A player's nationality is important because players from certain countries seem to attract very high prices. Countries like England, Spain have a rich football pedigree, and for this reason, players from such regions attract high prices. The club of the player is also important because clubs with very high profits and very high turnovers seem to place a very high value on their players. The performance of the player is also very important. Over time, when tracked over time, the number of goals, the number of appearances, the number of tournaments won, and factors, other factors like that affect the price of a player. The player's personal attributes also play a major role in the price, in determining the price. We need to look at things like the player's salary, we want to look at the player's age, we want to look at the player's career duration, and many other factors. I'll hand over to my group mate Manu to talk about the objective.
Hi. Uh, our problem objective is to calculate and update player market value on a real basis. What this means is simply that we are calculating the player's value based on the attributes, different attributes, and based on his performance in the past matches and the performance in the matches he plays in the future. What our application will do is it will allow users to simply select a single player if you want to search for a single player, and he has the option to add multiple players who share common attributes such as position, club, nationality, etc. And we see in the online shopping system, like there's an option of a shopping cart. Whenever you purchase something, you add it to the shopping cart. Here, instead of a shopping cart, we the user can add the player to a player basket or shopping cart, and here he can put a single player or multiple players depending on his choice. And this mechanism serves as a reference for managers and agents who need knowledge about the player's value, and which can further help them in making the decisions. Um the next slide, is our proposal. This is the basic business model that we follow and we use to analyze the player dollar value. So what we do is we use the data from previous years. We use the data from the past 3 years and past three seasons, and we calculated the individual players attribute aggregate attribute sum. What this is nothing but the sum of individual attributes, namely, it can be matches played, goals scored, and passes made, and nationality, clubs, age, height, weight. These are the different factors which we took into account, and we took the data from the last 3 years and we came up with the attribute sum. So what we did was we analyzed all these attributes and we came up with the attribute sum, which is nothing but the base value. To the base value, we have added a variable x, which will help us in analyzing the future predictions of the future changes in the player value. Suppose let's take the example of Wayne Rooney. Suppose his initial attribute value is 90, which was calculated in the last two seasons, and we need to predict what will happen in the near future. Like, if he plays a match against, say, Arsenal, and suppose he plays well and he scores two goals, we will encounter those factors, and like he scored two goals. This There will be a certain change in this variable x, which will change the attribute values, and which ultimately changes the player's dollar value. So what we have done here is we have created a system such that after every match we get the updated attribute value and the updated dollar value. This will ultimately help the player. This will ultimately help the player agent or the manager, which if he wants to trade that player to a different club. And the key functionalities that we see here are a 360-degree view of the player. 360-degree view of the player simply means searching the player based on certain parameters. For example, some user wants to search the player based on his nationality. Some user wants to search the player based on the league in which he plays, and some other user wants to search the player based on the age. Suppose the if the age lies between 24 to 28, and the position is so and so, so he has the option of getting the results from it. And we also include the shopping basket as explained earlier. This is nothing but if someone wants to add multiple players or a single player to the basket, if he is satisfied, if he finds the statistics to be okay, and if he wants to get the ultimate dollar value of the player, he can add a single player, and he can successively add multiple players to the shopping basket. uh, the next slide is the sample statistical model. What we did here was we used Excel and we created a sample data set. In the sample dataset, it has the dollar values of every player, and it has the different variables. We used a scale of 0 to 4, and we have assigned all these variables, and we have allotted all these values starting from 0 to 4 for different players and different variables. We performed regression here, and when we did regression, we get the equation of y, which is the dependent variable, which is nothing but the dollar value, equivalent to coefficients of the different variables, which are the independent variables, and these are the different attributes that we encounter. So we get different coefficients, like for size of selling club we get 11.73. We have different coefficients and we get the equation y is equal to alpha x plus beta x plus c. So we have all these coefficients. We simply need to put the x values to get the dollar value. So this was our basic statistical model which we performed in Excel. I'll hand it over to Han and he'll explain the benefits of our solution.
Okay, next is the benefit of our solution. First one is the decision support. We can use this system to manage volumes of data to provide information for intelligent pricing decision, and some users can directly use our system to see the dollar's value, what kind of the players they want, they needed, and if they can afford to this player. Uh, just like the cost analyze, the system can help football managers to analyze their overall estimate player cost and compare with their budget. So if the club or the manager do not have enough budget, they have to abandon that player for what a pity. And if their scouting is another benefit, streamline of the process of searching for players of interest. Um, the next is the future improvement. Our system uh, own some functionality of searching players and trade players of give the best decision to manager. And the new state system will increase more attributes such as the internal relationships, such like the player to player, the player to coach, and such like that, and the aptitude, physical energy functions, and the system may add statics not only for the players but the rival clubs, coaches, agents, etc. And this one is just like if before the game, the coach can see the statics, some data from the rival clubs and the agent, they will get right decision to make the starters and create new functions which take into account the factors such as the transfer news and rumors. These are the additional functionality of our system. Um, the next will be the conclusion showed by the Xinyuan. Yeah.
After we analyze the improvement of our system, we finally drew the conclusion of our research. First, our conclusion is that there are several factors contribute to the potential future performance of a football. Our system is to show the statistic of the soccer players' performance and predict their dollar value. We have covered many factors such as the player's independent characteristics such as his abilities, goal, his injury proneness, and the club factor such as a club's budget and club's negotiation power. But there's also other factors which we cannot cover, and these factors including such as a player's attitude toward a potential transfer, and the player's potential ability is very hard to calculate, and these factors should be including or improve system. And there's other factors such as the team's tactical value and what is the single player's value in this team and the team chemistry. That means the teammates' relationship when they play together. So we can draw the conclusion that the procedure of scouting for player and negotiating price is a very complex one, because a soccer player is just like a capital to a soccer team, and it decided by many factors except for the player's single characteristic and the club's factor. There's also decided by the market, and the the predictive value is decided by the supply and demand relationship of the player transfer market. So if
football manager want to purchase or transfer a player, he or she must consider many things related to the market status, the player's status, and the club status. And now the football manager faces ever increasing challenge as the transfer market become more competitive. For example, before 2005, many soccer clubs from South American countries like Argentina and Brazil, they cannot recognize the young players' potential value. So they just let many very ambitious and talented players to transfer to Europe club with very low price. But after 2005, more and more football managers realized that they should um, they should give the young talented player a reasonable value. And so the big club, such like the Arsenal and Chelsea from Europe, they face fierce competition from their South American colleagues. And another there's another tendency that more and more clubs they just keep save a lot of money for their budget, and their scouting power is increasing gradually. So our system, the purpose is to help this football manager to show them the soccer players statistics such as their performance, their potential, as well as predict their dollar value. We hope our system can help these football managers to make right decision when they face a confusion about how to predict the players' value. So that's all. Thank you.
We're going to do a short demo. We built in the process of designing the system. We built a little prototype, and we're just going to go through a few screens on our prototype. This just goes to show us the interface. This is the search screen. You're able to select the country where the player is from. Like if I you can search by country, you can search by club, you can search by the age range, you can search by the club, the current rating of the player, and his position. If I click on England and I click search, my search results will limit me to only players from England. I can now go ahead to select the player of interest from England, who is Wayne Rooney in this case, and I click on this button to view the player's attributes. Here we can see that Wayne Rooney is a player who is from Manchester United. We can see his position is forward. We can also see other details like his date of birth, his current rating, the transfer fee that was paid to bring him to Manchester United, his current remuneration, and other details. Now we have three buttons on this page, which the first one allows us to add Wayne Rooney to our shopping cart. The second one allows us to view his performance history, and the third one allows us to get his monetary value. First, I'm just going to click on the performance history button, and we can see that in season 2012 we have records for Wayne Rooney for season 2012 and 2013. We can see the number of games in each year, the number of games won, games lost, man of the match performances, and other variables. We can also go back and click on get monetary value. This tells us the amount that the system estimates that Wayne Rooney is worth. So if I click on that button, you can see that his estimated price is $45 million, and the price tag that has been put on him by Manchester United is 50 million. So this tells us that the club is overpricing the player. The third button here is the add player to shopping cart button. If we click on it, we can see our shopping cart. Already we have Robin van Persie in our shopping cart. That's why we have this record here, and we can also go ahead and put Wayne Rooney in our shopping cart by clicking the confirm selection button. In general, I think, and with all of that, we have come to the end of our presentation.